That's it.
Okay.
We are live. Coming at you. We haven't even
Coming
started
at
the
you.
show yet, and we're live. You're getting the pre-show madness and
This
magic.
is pre-show madness.
I haven't even powdered my nose yet.
My forehead is shiny.
You're wearing a hat, so it's all right. Hey, if you're watching us on YouTube right now and you're getting the pre-show, you can go ahead and give us a shout and say, hey, what's up? I know Bill is out there, lurking out there somewhere. Hey, Bill, is the Minecraft server up? I just realized I have that Linux computer, and I haven't been doing any Minecrafting. I got to get back to my Millennium Falcon. It's barren on the inside.
Yeah, and the AT-AT is barren on the inside, too. I can't figure out how to get into the cockpit of the AT-AT. I tried to walk through there.
It's really... And that was like a copy-paste I did from someone. It's actually really cool on the inside, but I don't know that you can get in the cockpit.
Yeah, I want to get in the cockpit. Yeah. You got to figure that out.
Did you notice that I had the AT-AT destroying a village?
Yes, and there's like... You have like lasers going.
Oh, I sure do.
You.
And then some of the villagers are trapped in their houses with lava surrounding them, which is always nice to do.
Always nice to do to the villagers is to trap them. All right. So my daughter's trying to, for those of you in YouTube world, she wanted to make something for us, and it didn't quite work out. She was like, "You're doing a podcast tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, it's May 4th." So she's like, "Oh, I have something for it." So she was just trying to do it, and it didn't work. So she's going to come down and talk to us about it.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, but she wanted me to be able to see if I could project it. So I think on my iPad, maybe if I don't know. Maybe I could, if she... All right, I'll have to try and figure something out. Let's see. This is her sending me the TikTok. I can show them this. Maybe.
I'm going to blast this out onto my Facebook and social medias.
All right, maybe I'll just hold up the TikTok to the screen. All right, so we're still going live. Any
quality entertainment right here.
Two people not paying attention to the fans.
Well, this is quality stuff for the Patreon reel. You pay the extra money, you get to see this stuff.
You get to see the pre-show stuff.
Us in our natural habitat. You get to critique all of Rob's Legos back there. He's got the pre-season 2 Razor Crest back there. It's always nice to see.
In one piece.
Yes,
right below it, I have the Ugnaught. This over here is Han getting frozen in the carbonite.
Rock on.
There's a little Ugnaught there. Couple little. This was Trey's, and he doesn't care anymore, so I just took it.
As is your right as father.
Exactly. So it was a Christmas present that I paid for, so I'm keeping it. So just a whole bunch of little Star Wars Lego stuff over there. It's hard to see over my left shoulder, but there's a glowing Yoda.
Yes, there is.
Let me change it. Let me see if I switch it with something else if it looks better.
Well, it's 8:01, Mr. Rob, so switch her up and we got to get going. Our people are paying hard-earned money for a product. God, if you're paying for this, I am so sorry.
So sorry. So now instead of Baby Yoda, it's now R2-D2.
I can see him back there, glowing away, little R2.
Glowing away R2-D2. Okay, you want to hit record on Audacity?
I should probably open up Audacity, don't you think?
You might want to get that open.
I don't think I sent you my recording from last week.
I think you did, but when we had our guest on from some other podcast, I won't mention the Supreme Resort guest, Eric.
Wow.
I never got his copy. Boom.
Wow. Unforgivable. Really, truly unforgivable.
That's for sure.
Man. All right. Well, I'm going to hit record on my Audacity.
You do that.
Boom. We are officially recording.
Boom. Okay. And now I'm recording. All right, let's get this show on the road. Ready?
Do it.
3,
2.
2. Intro music.
Wait, that's not it.
What? He's no good to me, Daddy.
Intro music. Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Yeah, and they don't get to see our dance moves unless they see us on YouTube either, isn't it?
You
Man,
watch it live.
we are here for our very first broadcast as a rebranded podcast, and we are coming at you live. Bantha Milk Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, how are you, my friend?
I am a banter and a Beskar short of being amazing. That's how
true.
I am.
That is true. But you know what? As much as we really like our good old long name, people were starting to fall asleep in the middle of saying it. So we did decide on a little rebranding. You're going to get the same banter. You're going to get the same Bantha Milk as always, right? But we are under the umbrella of Bantha Milk Podcast coming at you live today on this most joyous of days, Rob. Happy May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Happy May 4th to you as well.
Now, is that
and
like
the
the Catholic
4th
Church, and you're supposed to say, and also with you?
And also with you.
And
yes,
lift up your
so.
hearts, and I don't remember the rest. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm not Catholic, so I don't know. But yes.
But anyway, it is May 4th.
Yes.
It is Star Wars Day. The great thing about Star Wars Day is that it's made up completely because we just decided one day we need a day to celebrate Star Wars, and here we are.
And here we are. And this is the closest one that sounded like May the Force be with you, because May the 3rd doesn't sound like
That's
May
true,
the Force.
Did you see there's a new one going around on the internet now, and it's This is the May.
Oh, so it's a whole month
So it's a
of Star
whole
Wars?
month of Star Wars, which I can get behind, right? It's almost like, there's music in our schools month, and there's
Teacher
Appreciation Week, of course, and Star Wars month.
You need Star Wars month. Yeah, it makes sense to me. I mean, the only problem is that's a lot of presents to give out. It's 30 days of presents. I don't know if I can handle all of that.
But do we give Star Wars presents to our friends, or do we give presents to the stars of Star Wars? Like, do I have to mail Mark Hamill a bunch of stuff in May?
No, that we don't do. But to all of your friends that like Star Wars, you're supposed to exchange gifts.
Not the friends that don't like Star Wars.
Not the friends that don't like Star Wars. If you don't like Star Wars, you're out of luck.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Well, while we're talking about it, while we're talking about our banter, we got to make sure we do bring back the one thing that survived in our name, which is the
right.
Bantha Milk, right? We are
Bantha Milk.
We are going to banter amongst our Bantha Milk. And I will tell you, this one goes out to my buddy Joe, who is probably not watching, but in case you ever listen eventually later on down the road, I am drinking Joe, that guy, down in Texas, soon to be coming at us from as far away as it basically gets. He's moving, basically, if I dig straight down and pop out the other side of the earth, he's going to live there. But in his honor, I am drinking some old Granddad 114 neat bourbon whiskey. So that's
so.
Joe.
Let's play a geography game with Nick. And so from New Jersey, you're talking about going straight through the earth,
directly down through the Earth's crust.
Okay, so where do you think the other side of the Earth comes out?
I'm gonna guess somewhere in the ocean.
Okay,
but he is moving to Singapore.
Okay, all right.
Which is pretty darn close to the other side of the world.
I thought you were going to say like South Africa or something, and I was going to be like, no, we can't go from New Jersey. Yes, so, okay, so be that. Your doctorate degree is paying homage very well right there, yes. I'm impressed.
Kind of. Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm drinking my old Granddad. What do you got, Rob?
I have some Goose Island Goose 312 Urban Wheat Ale. So let's see if I can get this to pop.
That was pretty nice. I like that. Goose Island, by the way, is a Chicago brewery.
It sure is.
When I lived in Illinois, they had Goose Island in quite a few places. So here is to Star Wars Day with Goose Island and Old Granddad.
Happy Star Wars Day.
And now we do got to tell you, as we enjoy this drink on Star Wars Day, you might recall that all through the month of March and April, we had a little bit of a contest going. If you are a fan of our Facebook group, you will definitely know that. And you should make sure you check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Sacred Jedi Texts. What's been going on with our big competition, Rob?
So it was supposed to start and be a play on March Madness. And
we just got copyright claims. That's it.
There was a pause. There's a pause in there. You
Okay.
couldn't tell. My problem is I have a lot of other things going on, so I wasn't I wasn't shutting down each week's worth of voting after a week. It was sometimes taking me up to 2 weeks. So we've gone all the way through the month of March and all the way through the month of April, and now it's May already. So I'm like, oh my goodness, we have to end this.
Like the NCAA, we go loosey-goosey with the rules. You know what I mean?
We sure do. So we are finally down to the final two. The final four, as when we talked last week to Tom Amin, the pianist.
Yes, if you did not check out our last episode, and especially if you are a fan of John Williams music and Star Wars music, check out Tom Amin. Check out our last episode. We had a great conversation with him about his music and Star Wars in general.
Yes. He said he's a big fan of Yoda and Baby Yoda, and I said, oh, excellent, because both of those are in the final four. But it was Luke versus Yoda, and it was a close one. It was like a 53 to 40 something. Let me see. I had a slight mistake because originally there was an extra option vote.
Oh yeah, someone wrote in Ahsoka.
Yeah,
someone wrote in Ahsoka. I get it. I am there for that, right? But there are unfortunately no write-in ballots in our bracket.
Yes. So there was a little extra vote there, but So I'm trying to pull it up right now as we speak. 42% for Yoda, 52% for Luke Skywalker. So Luke Skywalker beat Yoda by a little bit. And then in the other side of the bracket, it was Darth Vader versus Grogu / Baby Yoda / Norman, which is should be his real name. And Darth Vader won that 68 to 31%. So
wow.
The final two,
a lot of love for Darth.
Yes, a lot of love for Darth. So the final two, which ironically enough are also our 1 and 2 seeds.
Father and son.
Is Luke versus Darth Vader. And right now there's just a simple poll on Sacred Jedi Text where you can pick either Darth or Luke. So if you're not in our Sacred Jedi Text group on Facebook, go ahead and get in there. And then you can answer that poll question.
Remember, that is facebook.com/groups/Sacred Jedi Texts.
Correct. So that will get you able to vote. And we pinned it, hopefully, all the way to the top. So that way it'll be easy to find as well. Because today, being the fact that it is Star Wars Day, there was a lot of posts in Sacred Jedi Text, which was a lot of fun because some of them were cute. Some of them were funny. J. Kristen Wilson posted 2 different pins of Happy Star Wars Day. Please tell me it's not just me. Is a picture of like shipping, not containers, but shipping stuff off in the distance. Looks like a bunch of AT-ATs attacking. And then this one is a fun statement. And the keep calm and carry on statements. It says, calm you shall keep and carry on you must. Yes. Mm-hmm. So
it was a pretty good throaty Yoda. I liked that.
Thank you. Yes, nice. Spoken like Yoda. So there's a lot of very cool posts in Sacred Jedi Text. Nick and I are not the only two, and actually, honestly, I think Nick and I post the least amount in Sacred Jedi Text.
We've got some nice, some active users on there sharing a range of things from complete absurdity, whether it be Star Wars memes or posts or silliness, or Star Wars news, things that are happening in the Star Wars world. Because there is, now that the year's picking up, we do have some stuff going on. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Bad Batch today. Right, that was a big Star Wars Day thing that happened today. We had our season premiere of the Bad Batch. So this is us just letting you know, if you haven't seen it, there will be spoilers coming on later on in the show, but we will let you know once that spoiler zone happens. Right, but you need to make sure you check out that Facebook group and vote, because we need to make sure we get an accurate representation of what our fan base thinks.
What our fan base thinks is their favorite of all of the Star Wars characters, since we're down to the final 2.
That's it.
And also, while we're talking about that, Nick, why don't you tell us all about how they can get in touch with us on any of ours, we like to call them social medias.
Hey, if you're interested in more Star Wars info, want to chat, or even want to send us some Star Wars drink recipes, please be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms. You can catch us on Instagram and Facebook at Bantha Milk Podcast, Twitter at Bantha Milk. You can email us at banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com, or even check out our website, banthamilkpodcast.com.
And don't forget to check out our sister podcast over at the Earz-up Network. Our friends over at Earz-up help us a whole lot, so give them and their many shows a listen. Their shows include Earz-up, Earz-up in Depth, The Supreme Resort, and Scraping the Vault. Also be sure to check out their Patreon at patreon.com/ears with a Z up. For as little as $2 a month, you can help support our show. Any donations sent their way directly help us here at Bantha Milk Podcast and comes with great perks. So please check them out today.
That's it. Check them out. Earz-up Network.
Check it out.
They're our buddies. They're our pals. They have some good shows on there. They're good people on there. And they help us out as often as they can.
They sure do.
Now, I will point out that Joe, who is my buddy who I was talking about earlier, actually did hop in, and he is in the chat. And he says, I wish social meds wasn't a thing. Let me tell you, Joe, nothing makes me happier about using the word social meds than knowing that you don't approve of it.
That's right. It makes it even more fun now. Now
this
we're
old
use
granddad is for you, my friend. Just like the old granddad, you have always been in my heart.
There you go. On your way to Singapore. All right.
That's right. So we do have a good bit of Star Wars discussion to have before we bounce into our bad batchery, right?
Yes.
So, Rob, what do we have coming up? Very special segment.
Very special segment.
Star Wars News.
Sure is. Very special segment. This is one of my favorites. There's, especially now, so it's funny, all the other weeks we go through, we're like, there's not really much going on. But then May the 4th comes around, and then, bam, you're surrounded by all kinds of amazing news. So the first thing, Nick, did you see that there is a real-life working lightsaber now?
Is it like one of those real-life working lightsabers, like when I was a kid in the back of Boys Life magazine, there was like a real-life working hover machine you could buy in X-ray specs? That sort of thing?
Possibly.
Okay.
I saw a video of it, though. It looks real. So, of course, when the internet gets a buzz about the fact that there's a real-life working lightsaber, people are like, oh, my goodness, that's so dangerous. How can you control the beam of energy to stop, blah, blah, blah. So they showed today Star Wars Galaxy's Edge just released a real quick TikTok of the person dressed up like Rey. She turns around and her lightsaber turns on and out comes the light beam. It looks real. And then that's all you get. You get like a 30-second TikTok of this amazing, real, glowing, moving lightsaber.
So what you're saying is that I'm now going to be able to bring a lightsaber to school and use it for discipline. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Chop off limbs?
False.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
False.
All right.
It is as real as the other real lightsabers that you can buy. And honestly, I think it might even be less real than the real lightsabers
we
that you can buy.
We have someone named Chuck in our chat saying that he has one. All right, Chuck, you're going to have to let us know how yours feels. Do you feel confident that you could use yours in a battle of any sort is what I want to know. Right? Because isn't that really the big question you want to ask when it comes to having some sort of a lightsaber in your hands?
Right. Can I cut off Luke Skywalker's hand with this lightsaber?
And even if I can't cut it off, can I pretend like I'm going to without breaking my toy?
Right. So the real ones that you can buy, they can take a lot more damage. This one that they showed, there was even how Disney's real lightsaber patent actually works. So I am going to see if I can present this tab. So all of you hopefully can look at this. If you're on YouTube right now, you can see this as well. Dr. Nick, do you see this?
Oh, you better believe I do.
Okay, so basically what is happening is they have what looks like would be this diagram that is showing on our YouTube page right now. It's almost like two tape measures that can be sent out of the top of the hilt to make it look like the lightsaber is growing and shrinking again.
This is going to be great content for those of y'all catching us on Stitcher and Spotify and Google Music.
Yes.
So just use the Force and imagine what you're seeing here. And make sure you check us out on YouTube, because if you don't go check us out on YouTube, you're missing out on all of Rob's Star Wars toys behind him.
Yes.
Right?
So that's right. Yeah. You got to check out all my toys. So then there's they show the patents of what Disney patented to make this real life working lightsaber. So basically, in a nutshell, it is
that you see, Rob, you described it to me earlier, but without really seeing that graphic you showed me, I didn't quite understand. That is an interesting concept you got there.
Yes. So basically, you're talking about two like slap bracelet type metal, which is like curved, or tape measures that will expand out quickly to make it look like the blade is expanding out. Yes, just like Nick has showing us there. So it looks like the blade is expanding out quickly. But my thing is, I've used a lot of tape measures, and I know they're very easily creased and bent, and then they just like fall over again.
Right.
So I have a feeling this is going to be a prop on a show, like one of their stage shows, and Rey's going to come out. The lightsaber is going to expand. She's going to maybe do like one swing with it, turn around, and then somebody backstage is going to quick switch it with another lightsaber with a more solid glowing beam of light. So that way she can actually really hack away with it.
Listen, Rob, it's 2021. I'm just wondering at what age I will be, and if I will still be of, spry enough age to use it, when I will be able to hold a lightsaber that, when I press the button, a beam of plasma comes out, capable of cutting through anything. I don't think that's asking too much.
Why is that asking? I don't see any reason why that would be asking too much. If we can buy, semi-automatic and automatic assault rifles, why can't we buy something that's a beam of light that can just slice through anything?
And
why
at
not?
the end of the day, those sorts of weapons are so uncivilized. This is a more civilized weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
From a more civilized age, right? So,
yes.
I don't know. Who do we got to talk to? Is it NASA? Is it Elon Musk? I don't even know anymore. It's not Bill or Melinda Gates, clearly.
Nope.
Right?
Nope,
they're out of the
right
picture now.
Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure Elon Musk probably has already built two of them in his basement as we speak. So he probably already has
They can probably launch themselves to the moon and then land right back where they landed.
Right. Yeah. Right backwards. It'll just fly backwards down right onto a platform.
It's amazing.
And then pull out a lightsaber. So yes.
I like it.
So that's really cool that they talked about it before, but now they actually saw the lightsaber pop out. So check out Disney's TikTok page, because it's on Disney's TikTok page.
Yeah, for all our young viewers and fans out there, I got to tell you, we have a grand total of like 5 or 6 viewers on YouTube right now, and that's like mammoth. I'm just kidding. It's not that much, but yeah, tell your friends. Tell your friends about us, folks. Share this link with your friends. We love talking to new Star Wars fans. We love meeting new Star Wars fans and having lots of new perspective. Because I got to tell you, if there's one thing Star Wars fans have, it's a perspective. All right.
Yes.
So make sure you tell your friends about us. Do we have any more Star Wars news today, Rob?
So a couple little other things. Got an email from Disney Plus. May the 4th be with you. New things that are coming out. Obviously, The Bad Batch, which we're going to talk a lot about. The Force Awakens from its nap is the surprise celebrate Star Wars Day with The Simpsons. Maggie in daycare has a Star Wars dream or request, I guess would be.
Yeah, I saw some sort of Star Wars Simpsons ad today.
Yes, so that just came out today, so everybody's got to go check that out. And also Star Wars Biomes, tour Hoth, Tatooine, and more. Take a virtual vacation on some of the most incredible locations from the Star Wars films. You can watch that on Disney+. Star Wars vehicle fly-throughs, soar through space. Ever wanted to go inside the Millennium Falcon or a Star Destroyer? Make it happen by streaming Star Wars vehicle fly-throughs. So you can stream all those things on Disney+, which is very exciting. Disney Star Wars May the 4th. And this is the big one. Disney's got to sell stuff. So happy Star Wars Day. There's like 5,000 sales going on right now at the Disney store, at Star Wars stores, wherever you can find Star Wars, something's probably on sale. The Disney store has stuff on sale, not just today, but until like May 11th. So you have a couple of days to really decide what is that big item that you need to buy. And then my other favorite art email that I got today, I subscribe to this webpage called Instructables, where they teach you how to build things. Today's staff pick 120 Star Wars projects that you can do.
Okay, like
so,
what do you mean by build something? So, do you have any examples of projects like that you can
Sure.
build out of there?
Yeah, so Star Wars projects. One is a 1-to-1 scale replica BB-8 prop. So the person tells you how to build a BB-8 prop.
All right.
Star Wars corner bookmarks. So they're cute little pictures of little things you can put in a bookmark. And if you want, since you asked, I'm going to share this with you as well. Here we go. 120 Star Wars. So you definitely got to check out our YouTube page for this. 120 things here. Oops, where did it go? Dang it. Staff picks.
Don't worry, he teaches technology, folks.
Share this tab instead. Here we go. So there's the little Star Wars corner pages there. You can make a little baby Yoda that's on your book page. I like this one. Star Wars X-34 Land Speeder Bed.
I want that. I think Pagan wouldn't be too bummed out about that.
No, I don't think she would either.
If there's a wife that would think that was okay, I think my wife would be the one.
I agree. I think she would totally say, I mean, you can make it a king size.
Ooh, look at that
bed.
X-Wing gingerbread, man. That's
Yes.
pretty killer. I don't know why I've never thought to do Star Wars gingerbread. Because I'm not a very creative person. That's how that works.
Maybe, but now we can be.
Now we know. The
now
internet.
we know. Yep. Baby Yoda keychains, Baby Yoda phone stands. So a whole bunch of look at that.
Oh my
swing.
gosh! Look at that swing set, Chuck.
Okay.
Chuck is in our comments right now. I'm looking at you, man. If you do not make this swing set for your children, I might have to call Child Protective Services. I'm just saying.
An X-Wing playset swing. I mean, that is every kid's fantasy right there. So
it was mine for sure.
Yep, that's for sure. So check out Instructables today. They had 120.
Ooh, look at that Chewbacca. Yeah, I mean,
Oops,
it's okay you missed it, but there was a Chewbacca purse up there. That was pretty fantastic too. Man, all right.
And Mother's Day is coming up, so every mother wants a Chewbacca purse.
My mom would be so pissed at me, man.
She would be very pissed. So, I mean, obviously, with Star Wars Day comes Star Wars sales. So go buy something. Everybody needs a Baby Yoda crock pot, as well as Baby Yoda oven mitts to go along with it. So check out all that. That's my news, because we're going to dive deep into the Bad Batch very soon.
Yes, yeah, we have. Yeah, this is your warning right now, right? This is spoiler alert zone. Coming on from here, there will be spoilers. Now, for those of you who are concerned about crazy, but I wouldn't say there was anything necessarily groundbreaking or earth-shattering that happened during this episode that might be spoiled. But if you are one of those people who wants to avoid spoilers and see it fresh for the first time with fresh eyes, it might be time for you to pause this and go check out Disney Plus and watch the first episode of The Bad Batch. And I will tell you, I'm really excited without even getting into the episode. First of all, we've been, last I saw, it was speculated 16 episodes for season 1.
Well, it wasn't speculated. The producer came out and said,
all right,
there will be 16 episodes. Yes.
All right. So right there, right. We've got a good bit of Star Wars content coming our way the next couple of months. On top of that, this first episode, now I don't think any of us can judge the rest of the episodes by this episode, right? But this first episode was an hour and 15 minutes long.
Yes.
There was a lot of stuff that happened. There was, and I went into this episode hopeful. I'll say I was hopeful, but I'll tell you some of my least favorite things about the Clone Wars were the clone stories. Not necessarily that I didn't like them, but I'm invested in Jedi. I've always been invested in the Jedi.
Okay.
And that's been our biggest link, I think, between all of the series is the Jedi. So when I heard that there was a series being announced about this rogue group of kind of weird clones, I wasn't necessarily as jazzed as others might have been. I was excited. I knew Dave Filoni was at the helm. It was going to be good. But I went into it with some reservations, and I thought this was a great episode. It did some great storytelling. It made me care more about each of the clones in
Sure.
the Bad Batch. Oh, Hey, Dexter. How are you, bud?
Dexter's here.
Dexter's hanging out with us, too. He likes Star Wars, too, so that's always good. What did you think, Rob? What were your initial impressions?
So it's pretty funny. When we talking about the Mandalorian, we were like, we want the episodes to be longer because they're all 30 to 40 minutes long or something like that.
Right.
And then this one comes out at 71 minutes long. Now, right now, my day is very hectic.
Yes.
After work, I coach. I have games and stuff like that. So knowing that we wanted to put this show out today, and the day that this episode came out, I was like, okay, I was trying to find 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here to watch this because I knew I had 70 minutes of a show to watch.
Yep.
If it was only 30 minutes, I would have been able to sit down, watch the whole thing, and been happy with it.
Yep.
Probably even watched it twice. But because it was 71 minutes long.
For you, yeah. I actually, Rob walked into my room at work today, and I was like, so you watched it, I'm sure. And he's like, yeah, I watched like a half an hour of it. Usually by that time of the day, Rob had seen an episode like 2 or 3 times, but he's like, yeah, I'm on my second watch through. I'm just, reabsorbing.
Yeah, which is unfortunately for me for this week is I'm not going to be able to spew out as much facts as I was able to do with The Mandalorian because I only watched it once and I didn't have any time to do any research as to what some of the Easter eggs were. Now, we did find a couple of the obvious Easter eggs, which we can talk about those.
Sure.
But there's some other things. So as a whole, I liked it. I liked the episode. I thought it was very exciting. I thought it was a good start to the episode. We definitely got introduced to the new character, Omega.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about Omega because there's some stuff going on with Omega for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So
who were, because, we kind of learned that Omega becomes a member of the Bad Batcher, but who were the members of the Bad Batch? We have Hunter. Hunter's the leader, right? And the whole thing with the Bad Batch is they're this troop of clone troopers that have some sort of mutation or alteration that makes them kind of weird, right? But
right.
Better, right? So Hunter has enhanced senses, right? So he can smell good and he can see good. There's Tech, right? Tech is like really good working with technology and computers.
He's and then there's the
Crosshair. Crosshair's the jerk. Right.
Crosshair's
and we'll talk about him. He's a much more complicated character than all that. But yeah, Crosshair, he's the sharpshooter.
I was hoping IMDb was going to give more details, but it hasn't really said anything yet.
Is it Wrecker?
Wrecker
is the big
strong
beefy
man.
guy. Yeah, he's like the warrior class. That's
so there's 5 of them to start with.
Right.
And
Echo.
Echo
is the normie, right? They call him a normie because again. What kind of happens with the Bad Batch is it's a continuation of a storyline that began in the last season of the Clone Wars, right? So if you watch the last season of the Clone Wars, which if you haven't watched that by now, you need to get your tuchus back on Disney Plus and do it because it's some of the best Star Wars content out there. But it's pretty evident right away because the very first thing we see in this episode is the Clone Wars. Right? And then it burns away into the Bad Batch. And then we even hear that Clone Wars style narration, that like 1950s war propaganda sort of, a bad thing is happening. That sort of
which that was the thing I hated the most about the Clone Wars was that narration.
It's definitely kitschy.
In last episode, we saw the Clone Wars were battling against the troopers and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, shut up. Like that's so when they brought that back, I was like, I'm not going to like this. This is already driving me insane.
I don't know. I mean, they might do that every episode, but I'm not sure if they did that just this episode as like hey, this is like we're continuing this story, but it's morphing into its own other thing or not. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll kind of see what they do with that. But yeah, so this was that continuation of that storyline from a Clone Wars. So it does help if you've seen the last episode or season of Clone Wars, but it's not absolutely necessary.
No. And so like you were saying about Echo wasn't one, if you watch the original, when they were in the last Clone Wars, Echo wasn't a part of them, but
he was just a regular clone.
Yeah, but then he got captured and they were using, the Imperials were using his brain to figure out what
tactics, right?
What tactics everybody was going to use. So then,
like, I guess all the clones have these tactics programmed into a chip in their brain, and they captured him and they held him, and so they were using the tactics in his brain to counter all the different stuff going on. And there was like a whole storyline with them trying to save Echo.
Yeah.
Which
was cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
So then they save him, and then at the end, Echo realizes that he now fits in better with the Bad Batch guys because he's now been altered the same way that the Bad Batch guys have all been altered. So they're all clones, but they've all, as they say in this episode, they're all genetic defects.
Yeah. And by the way, I do want to point out there that at one point during this episode, Tech says that Echo is more machine than man, which is totally a throwback to, Obi-Wan saying that Darth Vader is more machine than man. But then he adds the addendum percentage-wise. Right, which I think is kind of funny. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, you're more machine than man. I mean, percentage-wise, obviously.
Percentage-wise,
like, you got a lot of robot in you.
Yeah,
so I thought that was kind of cool.
So they spent a long time on what are the long neck people? Kaminoans.
Yeah.
The Kaminoans were in this a lot as well, and they kept talking about that there were 5. At one point, Grand Moff Tarkin
Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. Well, at this point, he is Admiral Tarkin. He is not yet a Grand Moff, right? Because I saw him walk in. It was my initial reaction, but she specifically called him Admiral Tarkin.
Admiral Tarkin.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, well, how many of these genetically modified or defective clone troopers do you have? And she said, well, we're down to 5, but Echo is not technically one of them. So then you're like, well, who's the 5th one? And then that's when you find out about the little girl, Omega.
Omega
is the 5th one now.
So again, that, it's a red herring sort of situation because it's like, she is different because she's a female clone. But there's more going on there. I'm thinking her genetic defect is force sensitivity. But that might be too obvious.
She did do the one thing. Remember, she was sitting next to one of the clones, and she was like,
Crosshair,
right? And she said something like, "You will be okay," or she was like calming him down in a way, almost like she, like you said, like was force sensitive type of thing. Yeah. And she also was mimicking a lot of the leader. What's his name?
Hunter.
Hunter. She was saying and doing a lot of things same way as Hunter was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking maybe she was like a female version of Hunter because every time Hunter would say something, she, like, tactic-wise, she was saying the same thing. But the fact that she then did also try to calm down sharpshooters, Crosshair.
And maybe she said, what she said to him was, you don't have to do it. I know you don't. I know you have no choice. Right, so basically what you say, she understands that this chip in his head is going to do some screwy stuff, but you can fight it, I think is what she's saying. So
yeah,
and again, the big thing is she shows up, and for those of you who, we just kind of jumped right into it, but Omega is this young female clone that we're introduced to, clone of Jango Fett, presumably, and she is like helping out in the medic team or the whatever, the hospital wing,
the hospitals. Yeah. Like they were saying that she was her medical assistant.
Yeah. So why is a 11-year-old clone girl helping in the medical wing? She's got to have something going on, right? So it would lend itself that maybe she has some force sensitivity thing going on, or there's something else. The force sensitivity thing might be a red herring as well. It might be, hey, you think this girl's a Jedi, but actually something else. Only time will tell.
Yeah. And the other thing, last episode you asked, do you have any idea when this series is taking place? Well, now we find out.
Yes.
That it takes place, it starts right at Order 66 is being dropped.
Which is, again, the perspective of other places in the galaxy during Order 66 is something that has been shown in a couple different places, right? We saw it in Jedi Fallen Order. Cal Kestis, who's the main character for Jedi Fallen Order, we get to experience Order 66 with him as an apprentice. I thought was amazing, just being able to live that experience in a first person perspective or third person perspective, I guess.
Yeah.
But as soon as we saw, as soon as we get in, we see, first of all, I guess this is a good place to kind of kick off into the episode, right? We see the Bad Batch, and it's called Aftermath, and just the word Aftermath, you're thinking, all right, this can't be that great. And as soon as we saw Depa Billaba, right? Depa Billaba is a Jedi Master. That has been brought. She was again, as Star Wars tends to do, she was probably an afterthought extra for the Jedi High Council. But because it's Star Wars, that person got a story, and that became a thing.
And Dave Filoni.
Yes.
Dave Filoni is notorious for taking all these small little characters, the Ugnaughts, that were just props basically in the movie. We need somebody to be these workers. We'll make these Ugnaughts, whatever. We'll call them an Ugnaught, and that'll be the end of it. And then he turns an Ugnaught into a lead character in a whole season of The Mandalorian. So Dave Filoni then said, "Okay, well here's this Jedi that we don't know anything about. Boom! Watch what I do."
So exactly when we heard Depa Billaba, I knew we gotta be seeing our boy Caleb Doom. Right,
Caleb Doom.
Of course, they call him Caleb in this, which I think is great because most people know him as Kanan Jarrus from Rebels. So if you haven't seen Rebels, again, on this podcast, me and Rob have told you a billion times that you need to stop what you're doing now and go watch Rebels. But this ties directly in with Rebels, where we see just the beginnings of Kanan. And again, we see in Rebels how Kanan reacts to clones.
Yes.
Right? So we automatically know he doesn't trust him. So I wasn't expecting Kanan and Clone Force 99 to just go holding hands off into the sunset. You know what I mean? It wasn't going to end well for them. But it was cool to see Depa Billaba and then to get to see Kanan / Caleb Doom and then Order 66.
So Caleb was fun because I was watching it. I was watching that part in the morning. And I see this young Jedi and whatever, and they're calling him Caleb. And I'm like, okay. I'm going to have to look up and see who this Caleb is. Then I hear him say, Caleb Dune. Then I turn my back, and I hear Freddie Prinze Jr.'s voice. And I was like, Caleb Dune, Kanan Jarrus. I was like, there we go. So for those of you that weren't able to put 2 and 2 together, we just did it for you. You're
and
welcome.
It equaled 4. And you can use your calculator. That math checks
You sure
out.
can.
But
sure
Joe
does.
and Chuck are both engineers, so they should be able to do that in their head, I think. That's some pretty simple basic math for them.
They don't need all these fingers to do 2 plus 2.
This many, yeah.
Yes, at least that many.
Indeed. So we have Order 66 that happens, which is pretty cool. And then this is something that they did with the Clone Wars that I loved. And they're doing it again with the Bad Batch, where we see things that are happening concurrently with the movie. Right? So we get the speech from Palpatine that he gives to the Galactic Senate, which is turning into the Empire. The
Empire,
basically.
yeah.
And it's literally the same exact speech, the same exact audio from the movie, but they added in some of the animation, which I thought was kind of cool. And it was kind of cool to see. First of all, we could see from the very beginning when they were kind of chasing down Kanan and trying to get a hold of him. Something was not right with Crosshair.
Yeah, so we all know, or at least if you don't, we're going to tell you, Order 66 was the order that the Camino,
I think they call it
Caminoing. They put a chip in all of the clone troopers' heads, so that way if they ever needed to, they could get them to do something. And this one thing that they got them all to do was this Order 66, which was to turn on all the Jedi. So immediately, Order 66 goes down. They're told to kill all the Jedi. All the Jedi are blindsided, wiped out. Now, this happens at the same exact time for us. Question for you. The clone troopers that were following Caleb Dune and his master, I forget what her name is. Yes. They were painted white and green. Do you think the green meant anything, or is it just what they were doing during the Clone Wars, where each different brigade, battalion, command, whatever, all had different paint schemes? Because even when we saw Ahsoka come back at the end of season 7 of Clone Wars. They all painted their helmets.
Yeah. I think
orange
the
and blue.
Ahsoka one was more like out of respect for Ahsoka. They like became a specific squadron under her command.
Okay.
I do think that the colors probably have something to do with either the squadron or else the terrain that they're going to be in. I've played enough Star Wars Battlefront to know that I try and pick the paint on my skin that blends in with the surroundings as much as possible. So maybe that's what they were going for, a more camouflage situation. But I think the Ahsoka situation was more specific to her, like a specific armor.
Okay.
That's my guess.
So what you're saying is a full suit of bright white armor does not blend in and hide in the forest too well, is what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, not so much. Okay. So I didn't know if the green was specific or if it was just probably like a form of camouflage. So we're going to lean with more camouflage.
But it's interesting that you bring up those colors, right? Because later on in the episode, when we know that Order 66 has happened and we start to see more and more clones like in the mess halls and clones like just kind of lounging around the forts, everything has become much more sterile, right? There's a lot less personality. The clones themselves exhibit less the clones have been clones for however long, but we always in Clone Wars saw that they all had their individual quirks and personalities. They've all become a whole lot more militaristic,
robotic,
yeah, absolutely. So it is interesting that order was given, and then all of a sudden a whole lot of them. So I think, and there has been some talk about this, is that in Legends there was like a civil war almost between the clones and the newly incoming stormtroopers, and so it'd be interesting to see if they might do something like that, because Tarkin's already talking about enlisting stormtroopers, and we know, come the Galactic Empire, at some point, clones are going to be gone.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how that phase out happens and how the clones react to it. Because we know that there are at least some clones that last beyond the Empire.
Yeah. And also going back to when Tarkin was talking to the Caminos about how he's not going to need their services anymore.
Right.
And they were like, well, we have a contract, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah. They're like, where are you going to get all these people from? And he said, we'll just enlist more people. And then she says, well, they're not going to be as good targets or not as good shooters or as what we have, which was a total nod to the fans.
Oh, it was like, hey, I know stormtroopers suck at shooting. Here's why.
Here's why, yeah. So that was great that they threw that in there. He was like, yeah, we're going to make sure everybody knows that we know that you know that stormtroopers are not nearly as good shots, and we're going to make a joke about it as well. So that was fun.
But I feel like that's something that Dave Filoni just likes to mess around with, because he did it in The Mandalorian too. He did it with Bill Burr's character.
Yeah, and he was like, I was a sharpshooter jerk. I wasn't a regular.
Yeah, he's like, I wasn't a stormtrooper. Yeah. So, that's just like, I guess at this point, it's just like, it seems silly not to acknowledge it. It's like, we get it. Let's talk about it and then move on.
And let's move on. Yeah. So that was a fun little line that they threw in there.
By the way, Dexter is my boy Dexter the cat is just hanging out. He just wants to be a part of all the action. Dex,
he does.
Did you like the Bad Batch today, buddy? He wasn't.
Meow.
He doesn't care, but he's a good guy.
He doesn't care. All right. So we got through. Oh, so then Caleb Dune, otherwise known as Kanan Jarrus, runs away, and we see that Crosshairs, he's got something going on. He has a chip.
Yeah.
Where the rest of them don't. The other ones, either they don't or they fought off
in it, right? They mention a couple times in this episode that there's some sort of a defect in their specific chips that makes them resistant to that specific order. But when they like collect Crosshair and they look at his chip, they notice that his is still functional, but it's lessened. Right? So that's why he was like, he didn't jump straight on, hey, let's kill these Jedi, but he was like, hey, dude, we should probably kill this Jedi.
We have to kill this Jedi. Right. I don't want to, but I have to.
But it's orders. We should follow it.
It's orders.
So that to me sets the stage for a couple things. Number one, it's cool that they decided, all right, the big bad for this season is going to be one of their own. It seems like Crosshair is going to be like the guy who's hunting them down. And it is cool that they went that way. So they're going to have to reconcile trying not to get killed by him, not wanting to kill him because they know it's a chip going on in his brain making him do things.
Right.
And my bet is that they bring him back to the team. I mean, that's
so you're saying 16 episodes in, he's going to be back on the team again?
I'm saying by the end of the season for sure. But I'm betting, if it's a 16-episode arc, I'm betting he's not the big bad. I'm betting at some point mid-season they find a way to get him back, and there's something that they do, right, that changes not just him but a whole bunch of clones, right, and that might spark some sort of revolution, and that's why we don't see clones anymore when the Empire comes around. That's my guess. Again,
cool.
that's my completely I have no idea. There's nothing that goes into that beyond a glass and a half of old granddad here. So
okay. Well, I think what they're going to do is go back in time and then go forward in time. And then when they go forward in time, get a book of the future and then take it back into the past
they're
again.
They're going to Gray's Sports Almanac it.
Yes, they're going to do. That's what I think they're going to do.
I like it.
Yeah. So, no, yeah, I like that. I hope that he's not the big bad for the entire 16 episodes. Now, also, old Clone Wars series, it wasn't necessarily a full 16 season or 16 episode arc always. They had 3 or 4 episode arcs. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it with this. If they do small arcs where they make an hour and a half movie out of something and then move on to the next one, or if something carries on for the whole time, which will be very, very interesting also.
What? I have a bone to pick with y'all.
What?
Uh-oh.
So I see you have the poll up for the 22.
You can't write anyone in.
It allowed me to write it in.
Yeah, well, we changed it. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Just because it allowed you once, it was wrong.
We are live on YouTube. Come on, I know you get a little mouthy. I'm just saying.
Did I just curse?
No.
I saw it in your eyes. So Pagan is, if you don't know Pagan, right? Pagan has been a guest on the show a couple times now. I think she's been on the show more times than she's listened to the show. But so Pagan's a little upset because again, on our Facebook group Sacred Jedi Texts, you can vote on our final 2, and obviously it's a final 2, not a final 3.
And it's not a final 2 with a write-in vote for whoever else you want to vote for.
This is not like an election for Senate. You can't write someone in, right? So Pagan tried to write in Ahsoka. I get it. I liked Ahsoka too, but you know what? Democracy prevails.
She lost. I'm sorry.
It's a numbers game. I'm sorry.
It is a numbers game. Yep. You should have got all your friends to vote for her earlier on, and then she would have.
What's funny is I actually was one who deleted that and put up a new one.
Truth.
Mentiroso.
No, I'm not lying.
His truth.
Get out of here.
All right. This segment of Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk has been sponsored by Pagan.
That's right. Sponsored by. Oh man. All right. So
okay.
We were talking.
Back to the. Yes,
we were talking about. I don't even know before my wife interrupted us. But we did get interrupted. Yes, we definitely got interrupted. But we did get introduced to a couple of characters that we already knew and from other mediums, right? We saw Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
We've seen him in a bunch of things. We saw him first in Rogue One.
Right.
And he was old in Rogue One, right? We saw the end of his life. Then we saw him in Clone Wars, right? He was young in Clone Wars. We then saw him in Jedi Fallen Order, right? Which is the video game, which is a great one.
I didn't play it. Was he old Saul, young Saul, or somewhere in between?
He was somewhere in between. He was, it wasn't quite, I think it was definitely past this. Right? So he was older than we saw him today, right? Which is the fourth.
Was he hooked up to some
He was not hooked up to any apparatus yet, right? He was not yet Darth Vadered. But yeah, so this is at least the fourth we've seen him in. Did we see? I think we saw him in Rebels too, didn't we? No, yes. He was dead by Rebels, wasn't he?
No, yeah, Rebels is after.
Right, yeah, because he was dead at Rogue One, right? So 4. Yeah, we saw him in 4, at least 4 mediums by now. So it's cool to see him pop up. I'm assuming we've kind of seen the slow radicalization of Saw Gerrera. We saw him at peak crazy guy.
Right.
And we saw
Darth
him
Vader
early
crazy
on in his career. So now we need to see, I guess, how he, became quite so radicalized. So interesting to see that.
And the cool thing when we get introduced to Saul, they were told that they had to go kill all these. I don't remember what they called them, infiltrators or something like that. Whatever.
Oh, insurgents they called them.
Insurgents, yes. So they had to go kill these insurgents. So then they're looking, and there were kids there, there were women there. There wasn't just an army that they were told they were in there to kill. Was this army of insurgents,
and they were expecting droids because I guess for the past many years these guys were used to killing droids, right? Which is probably easier than killing people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look what Luke did. Look what Luke had no problem doing.
And no, yeah. So, he sliced through them droids.
He sliced through them. So they were there to do that, and once again you see we still have Crosshairs with us at this point in time. And he keeps arguing because they keep defying orders.
Right.
First, they defied Order 66. They weren't going to kill Kanan Jarrus. Then they're defying this new order of killing the insurgents, even though they're like, look, they're not droids. There's kids. And then Crosshair's like, but we have to do it. So you can tell that his chip is trying to go and trying to make him do what he needs to do.
Yep, for sure.
So it was interesting, and they're like, we've defied orders all the time. Why do you care all of a sudden now?
Yeah, so now all of a sudden, I guess something happened with his chip because it's something's messed up with it, right? So whatever it is with Order 66, he really wants to try and follow that order.
Yes.
It's not quite working out for him, though.
Not quite working out for him, no. And then, I forget because I watched it in such little segments. So then next... is that when they go into Crosshair's brain and fix his chip?
Yeah, they give him the old zappy, right? And they upgrade his chip, and they go, we want you to hate people more, right?
We want you to be more imperial.
Yeah, so, it was kind of interesting how they did that, and they just kind of like, all right, we're going to program you to be the bad guy now. And that's kind of formulaic, but I get it. It's fine. I will mention that at one point, again, this whole time they kind of came back for Omega, right? They came back to go get Omega because there was this little girl who was different, and they knew that the Empire was no good. They were like, we got to go back and get this girl. At one point, Omega gets this doll, and I'm like, all right, this doll must be important. This has got to be a red herring for something. This has got to be like a throwback to someone. This is like someone's calling card. There's going to be a really cool cameo. And it wound up being Wrecker's freaking doll.
Wrecker's doll. And the other thing that was so cliche, we could say, there was a battle scene. They're all pinned down. They're trying to get onto a spaceship to get off the base or get off the station, whatever. And then you see Crosshair. You see his thing. He starts to target somebody, and then you hear a gunshot. And you're waiting for it to be Crosshair shooting somebody, killing somebody, but instead it's Omega with a gun, and she shoots the gun out of Crosshair's hand. And they were like, I didn't know you could shoot. She goes, I've never shot a gun before in my life, or blast or whatever she said. And so it was really funny that the 11-year-old girl saves the day. They're all able to run on the ship, and then she gives Wrecker his little teddy bear doll, whatever that thing was.
Kind of looks like a Pikachu.
It did kind of look like a Pikachu. So it was funny that it was Wrecker, the biggest, toughest of all of the Bad Batch characters, is the one that has the stuffed animal, has the little teddy bear.
So how did the episode end though? So I remember, I guess, again, you're right, because I did the same thing. I watched this in 4 chunks throughout my workday today.
Yeah.
Whenever I got the chance, I remember. They got away, obviously. Oh, that's right. So they got away in the ship.
And then they say they need to go somewhere to find out what J19. So they need to go to planet J19.
Now, I heard that and I went, I have no idea what that is, but obviously it means something.
Right. So, from the article from gamerevolution.com, as Hunter notes, the Bad Batch have very few friends, particularly after Order 66 has been executed and the clones are now fighting for the newly formed Galactic Empire. While there has been speculation that the Clone Wars Rex could be their contact on J19, it actually seems likely that Hunter is referencing Sector J19, the location of the, and I'm going to say this wrong, Salukami.
Seleucami. That's what it is. Seleucami. Right. It's
Seleucami
Seleucami and Cut Lawquane, right?
Right. Cut Lawquane is located in there. So he was featured in the Clone Wars Season 2, Episode 10, titled The Deserter. In the episode, Rex meets Cut, a former clone trooper who abandoned his post after witnessing his squadron murdered in battle. Cut has retreated to a peaceful life as a farmer with a family, one of few clones who has deviated from their path in the army. So that's what they're going to say, is that's where he's planning on going, is to go find Cut Lawquane.
Yep. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. Obviously this Cut Lawquane, again, I do remember this arc from the Clone Wars. It was interesting to see because they did have some philosophical conversation about why he left and what it meant to be a soldier and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see them kind of help him out. And it'll be interesting to see how Order 66 might have affected this guy. I mean, he deserted, but I don't know that necessarily means that the chip in his brain is not functional. So
yeah, so he could run into a Jedi and then suddenly feel the desire to kill a Jedi because it's in this thing. So speaking of Jedi, so do you think we're going to see any more Kanan Jarrus this season? I would say yes. Would be my guess.
I'm going to say he's not going to play a huge role because, again, we know Kanan doesn't trust clones.
Right.
So whatever role he plays, it has to be one of suspicion. He can't ever be like, all right, we're friends now, right? But
right.
But I would imagine we see him again at some point. I'm trying to think of other Jedi that are around. Now, they're trying to tie in a lot of stuff. We know we're going to see Fennec Shand, right? Fennec Shand, right? Fennec Shand has been confirmed to be in this, right? So I am wondering if maybe we're going to see some tie over, not just from Clone Wars and Rebels, but maybe we'll see some Mandalorian tie-in.
Okay.
We'll get to see kind of what happened to Mandalore when the Empire fell. We'll see them go to Mandalore. Maybe it'd be nice to see. Maybe we'll see Death Watch, right, and see Din Djarin get adopted. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we can still see in this era.
And there was also an article that went out a while ago that said Dave Filoni's going to try and right some wrongs and fix some things that were done in movies and stuff like that in all of the newer TV shows and stuff. So they're going to throw out little things in there that could be fixes. Right. For mistakes or things that they didn't like about the original series. So since this does take place in that era, they could, change up what happened in history and make things a little bit different now, just because they had that.
Man, I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in my opinion, he's going to change it. It's going to be better as opposed to changing who shot first 4 different times. He's going to just add a little something special to it, make it a little bit better, and then it'll be. You'll go, yes, that's the way it should be, instead of what, which is what happens with our good friend George.
It sure is. But man, I gotta tell you, I'm excited to be talking about new Star Wars content, and I'm excited about the fact that we will be able to talk about it for several months to come. Now, again, it was announced that it would be 16 episodes. And I assume every week they're going to be releasing them. I don't doubt that we'll have quite enough content every week to come out with a new breakdown. But we're definitely going to be breaking down every episode, at least every other week. We're going to be putting out at least two episodes a month to be talking about Bad Batch, right? Because this has definitely got A+ content and story writing written all over it. And I think it's going to be an awesome addition to the Star Wars world. And we are going to be bringing you breakdown. We're going to be bringing you updates. Rob is a master at finding the Easter eggs. He's going to be bringing them. He's going to dip them in vinegar. He's going to dye them. Mm-hmm. He's going to put them in a basket, and it's going to be delightful.
Speaking of Easter eggs, before we go, what I was trying to, my daughter did not come down because, like I said, before the show started, my daughter was trying to make us something for Star Wars Day. She found a deviled egg little recipe, which you dyed. Eggs. Oh, it's a shame it didn't work out then. You dye the yellow part green.
Okay.
So it's like Baby Yoda. And then when you put the deviled part back inside the eggshell, so you cut the white part of the egg in half, then the top half, you cut that in half again. So you put the green in the middle, and then you have the little cap on the back, so it looks like Baby Yoda's little capsule.
Oh, I see.
And then the yellow egg part in the middle would be green, which would be little Baby Yoda on the inside. And then the egg is the actual shell around it. But unfortunately, she didn't realize we were going to be recording this tonight.
Is she still planning on making them?
So she tried to. I don't think she let them boil long enough to get it to work right. So for our next episode, she's going to do it for our next episode.
So you're going to bring them so that I can try them then?
Yes. So we'll do it beforehand. I'll bring some to work. You can
that
take
way we
one
can
home.
try them live on screen. Because if there's one thing that goes really well with bourbon, it's deviled eggs.
Deviled eggs and bourbon go well together. If there's ever two things that need to go together, it is those two things.
I will tell you, I will be there with bells on because I love deviled eggs and I love Star Wars. And it is Star Wars Day, and we were so happy that we got to talk about new Star Wars content on Star Wars Day. And we are happy to be coming at you live once again from our brand new rebranded Bantha Milk podcast, right? Mm-hmm. We are Bantha Milk Podcast. Please make sure you check us out on all of our, as Joe loves to hear, social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, LiveJournal, MySpace, Zanga, I don't know, whatever else is out there. Check out Earz-up Network. They're all great people.
They're all great. And also, this fella here, Johnny Jalopy, we had him on our show.
Joppy Jelani, as I like to call him.
As you like to call him.
I like to mix up words. But he was great to chat with 2 episodes ago. Check out his episode.
Yeah, so ever since then, I've been watching. He has a sketchy live every Monday night on Facebook where he draws different hot rods and stuff like that. And he was going to draw a Star Wars car this week, but it was also his wife's birthday, so he drew a car for his wife instead. But
got to tend to ADB.
Yeah, you got to tend to ADB. Every week I say hi. They throw a little special shout out to us, and they can never get our name right. So I told them this week we shortened our name to just Bantha Milk Podcast because of them, because they could never get it right. And NEB thought that was the funniest thing ever. So, so there we go. So you don't have to remember the tongue twister of Banter, Beskar, and Bantha Milk anymore. You just have to remember Bantha Milk Podcast.
That's right.
And that's
BanthaMilkPodcast.com. Email us at BanthaMilkPodcast@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you, from seeing you, from talking more Star Wars in the future. Happy Star Wars Day, everybody.
Happy Star Wars Day,
everybody. And from all of us here at Bantha Milk Podcast headquarters, we have spoken.
We have spoken.